Isang masayang pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayon din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Ako ang inyong lingkod, Tutor Madge. Welcome sa ating ETUlay, ang ating libreng online tutorial na hatid ng ating kagawaran ng edukasyon, ICTS EdTech. Ang programang ito ay inaasahang makatutulong at maging karagdagang kaalaman sa mga mag-aaral mula kinder hanggang senior high school, ALS, Alive, at SPED learners. Bukod sa pagsagot ng mga modules, ang ETUlay ay may mga special programs din na siguradong aabangan ninyo araw-araw. Katuwang ang ating mga minamahal na mga magulang at guro ay maitutulay natin ang pagkatuto. Kaya, ihanda na ang inyong module, lapis, papel o kwaderno. Ihanda rin ang isip, mata at tenga sa isa na namang makabuluhang aralin. tayo nang matuto kasama ang inyong volunteer online tutor sa oras na ito.
Ayan, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon to all our ETUlay learners, to our math coaches, and our ETUlay parents who are watching right now from all over the Philippines. Once again, this is Teacher Joy Villarreal from SDO Caloocan City. So welcome to another session of our grade 10 math ETUlay. So again, we are your ETUlay tutors. We have Tutor of Hill who is in our backstage who are supporting us through directing, and Tutor Ruel plus of course at your service Tutor Joy. Siguro papansin nyo bakit wala po si Tutor Ruel. So pinapahatid niya rin po ang pagbati. Hello po sa lahat ng ating mga ETUlay learners. Wala man po siya ngayon pero all out support po siya since meron po silang events sa school today. So for this week, meron naman po tayo bagong matututunan. So special shout out din po tayo sa mga estudyante nating present na. So please don't forget to share our live stream po sa inyong mga group chat, sa inyong timeline, sa inyong Facebook groups, sa inyong mga kaklase and schoolmates. So shout out po kay Faye Revilla. Good afternoon po, watching from San Mariano National High School. Hello sa iyo, Faye. Ayan, maagang nandito na sila kanina pa. Kay Ward Balog din. Good day, Ward Balog from 10 Jade. He is watching from Godofredo Reyes Senior National High School, SDO Camarines Sur. At syempre, nandyan din si Luisa. Good afternoon daw po. From Godofredo Reyes Senior National High School. And ang isa pa nating masya-shout out for today ay si Earl Nolvier Madawin. Good afternoon po. I am watching from San Mariano National High School. Ayan, mukhang ready na ang ating mathletes. Mamaya magsha-shoutout pa po tayo. Ayan, hello po sa inyo. At syempre, imbitahan na rin natin ang ating mga parents, ang ating mga teachers na gustong matuto kasabay natin. At kung last week, meron po tayong na-recognize na mga mathletes, math coaches, at mga math husay schools, for this week or for the previous week, quarter 3, week 3, hindi rin magpapahuli ang mga i-recognize natin today. So, simulan po natin. Kung ready na, can you please send a smiley in our comment section? Ayan, marami po sa kanila ang naglalagay na ng attendance. So, huwag pong kakalimutan, ETUlay learners, lagyan po ninyo ng inyong school name, SDO, at syempre yung inyong math coach para at least makikilala rin natin sila. Ayan. Patingin nga po. Pakisend po ang inyong smiley. O sabi po ni Kiana Templo Nuevo, good afternoon po, Tutor Joy. I'm watching from Antipolo National High School, Minalaba, Camarines Sur. O so hopefully maganda po ang ating signal dyan, mga kapatid, mga ETUlay learners. Ayan, nag-send na po silang smiley. Now let us be ready to recognize and give our virtual claps and salutations to the following people. Let us start with our mathlete of the week. She's none other than Catherine K.B. Obina. Galing po siya mula po siya sa Ocampo National High School, SDO Camarines Sur. Palakpakan naman po natin si Catherine K.B. Obina. So this is for quarter 3, week 3. Ayan. At syempre, kung meron tayong mathlete of the week, kaway na po si Catherine and heart in our comment section. Yan. So congratulations, anak. Keep up the good work. Now here is our math coach of the week. She is Ma'am S.P. Ventura. Again, Ma'am S.P. Ventura from Kuliat High School, SDO, Quezon City. Ayan, mabuhay po kayo, ma'am. Maraming salamat sa patuloy ninyong pagsuporta at paghikayat sa inyong mga estudyante na sumubaybay at matuto kasama namin dito sa DepEd ETUlay. Sana po marami pa po kayong mga colleagues din, mga co-faculty, na ma-invite para sumuporta sa ganitong program. Marami po tayong nare-reach na mga kabataan at mga magulang na natutulungan, yung mga home facilitators natin through this program. So, Hello, Ma'am SB Ventura. Kung kayo po'y nanonood din ngayon, you can send as an emoji or greeting through our comment section. At kung advisor nyo naman or math teacher si Ma'am, paki-mention naman po si Ma'am sa ating comment section. And of course, next will be our Math Husay Schools of the Week. Of course, hindi naman po ito matutuloy-tuloy, no? 'Di ba? Wala namang masyadong sumusubaybay kung hindi sumusuporta ang mga paaralan natin. So we would like to recognize them. Let us start with the first three. So we have our Math Husay Schools of the Week. First is the Godofredo Reyes Senior National High School from SDO Camarines Sur. So taas kamay naman dyan ang mga estudyante na mula sa Godofredo Reyes Senior National High School. Yan. Proud alma mater kung kayo yung mga alumni na nanonood ngayon o mga estudyante na enrolled ngayon dito, send shout out to your school. And next is our Math Husay School, which is Doña Magdalena Gafud High School, which is from SDO Isabela. And we also have LFG or yung Luis Fe Gomez Diamantina National High School, which is from SDO Isabela. And the next three for our Math Husay Schools, meron din tayo dyan ang Quirino National High School mula po sa SDO Isabela. Yan, sino ang mga taga Quirino National High School? And we also have San Mariano National High School from SDO Isabela. And last but definitely not the least, we also have Antipolo National High School. Mula naman po sa SDO Camarines Sur. Ayan, nagsha-shoutout po ang ating mga ETUlay learners and math coaches sa ating comment section. School daw po nila yan. Once again, congratulations to our Mathlead of the Week, Math Coach of the Week, at ang ating Math Husay Schools of the Week. We're looking forward na mas dumami pa po tayong sabay-sabay na natututo sa susunod na mga session. Now, for this week, kung meron tayong topic about combination last week, let's have this new lesson. Are you ready? Okay, so you can take note of our lesson for today. This is all about Introduction to Probability of Compound Events. If ready na po kayo, pakitype nga po ang word na probability, wrong spelling wrong, probability sa ating comment section. Yan, nang mai-shoutout ko po ang may tamang spelling na maitatype sa ating comment section. Can you please type the word probability in our comment section? Ayan, sabi ni Harchi Ramos Dansalan, probability. Tama ang spelling. Yan. We also have Nina Kalingasan, Erica May Aringo. Yan, thank you so much for your responses. Now, for our lesson, if you're ready, kindly let's get started by preparing your pen, calculator, pero small number lang naman tayo this week. So, kayang-kaya nyo na kahit pen and paper lang yan. So, get ready, mathletes. Again, we would like to give the credits for our reference. Ang reference pa rin po na ginagamit natin ay ang module from DepEd CAR or Cordillera Administrative Region. And we're now using Quarter 3 Module 29, which is all about Introduction to Probability of Compound Events. Ayan po. So, shout out din po sa DepEd Cordillera Administrative Region. Maraming salamat po sa pagpayag na mahiram namin ang inyong reference ang inyong module for our reference. And for today, mathletes, let's focus on the objectives. We have 4, pero kayang-kaya natin itong ma-achieve. So first is to recall the concepts related to sets and probability of simple events. Next is to differentiate probability of simple events from compound events. Yan, malalaman natin ano bang pinagkaiba ng dalawang yan. Next is to find the probability of the union and the intersection of events. Lastly, we will be solving problems involving probability of compound events. So, na-take note nyo ba ang ating mga objectives? So, bago tayo umexit mamaya sa ating session, titignan natin kung ito bang mga to ay na-achieve natin. Kompleto ba ang ating checklist? Okay? Now, let's start. If you're ready, kindly press 1 in our comment section, mathletes. Tingnan nga natin sino ang mga nakikinig at nakatutok na. Kindly press 1 in our comments section. Ayan, sabi ni Mia Miranda, she's ready. She's ready to listen and study with us kasi nag-press 1 na siya. Ganon din si Harchi Ramos at si Sherlita Hernandez, si Monique Miranda, si Stephanie, si Angel Lu, si Rainiel Manabat, si Trisha Maytamang, si Gelan Jeronimo. Ayan, thank you so much, Mathletes. Thank you for being active. Now, let's begin with some recalling. Diba, first objective natin for today is to recall some concepts that involve probability. So let's have this maths in. And let's have a recall using this first problem. So let me read, Mathletes. If R is the set of colors in a rainbow and F is the set of colors in the Philippine flag, we have 4 tasks. First, name the elements of each set. Define or determine their cardinality. That's the second task. And we are also asked in this problem to find the union and intersection of these 2 sets. Ang tanong, kaya ba, Mathletes? Kayang-kaya. So suppose we have here the images of rainbow. Yan, di ba? Lahat naman familiar sa rainbow and Philippine flag. Now let's answer the first. Let's answer the first task. Let us name the elements of each set. Yan. How do we name the elements of each set? Given that we have a rainbow, and we can see here that this is defined as the set of colors in a rainbow. Can you please type in our comment section, ano yung mga elements ng set R? Game. And game tayo, Mathletes. Sige nga. Okay, so we have, ano nga yun yung Roy G. Biv? We always use the mnemonics of Roy G. Biv in order for us to easily remember the colors in a rainbow. So ano-ano yung mga yon? Sige nga, kindly give at least 1 in our comment section. What will be the elements in our set R? Ayan, sabi ni Marie Rose, YG Biv. Ayan, may kulang na R and O. So, ano yung R? It stands for red. What else? Ayan, sabi ni Ophelia, red. What else? May red. Ano yung O? That stands for orange. Ayan, sabi ni Stephanie, we have the Roy G. Biv. And that means that set R has the following elements. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So, tapos na tayo dun sa half task natin. Dun pa lang sa set R. Now, what about the second set, which is set F? Wherein set F is defined as the set of colors in the Philippine flag. Look at the image. So, ano naman ang laman ng set F? Ayan, so sabi ni Rich Jane, kulang lang siya ng indigo. Sabi ni Rich Jane Mercado Banares, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Kompleto si Jelen Jeronimo. Yan. Nailagay niya lahat. Okay, what about our Philippine flag? How do we name the elements of set F? Ano-ano ba yung kulay? We have blue, correct? Yellow, sabi ni Cassie Requinta, we have red, blue, yellow, white. Very good. So for set F, it contains blue, red, white, and yellow. So first task is done. And this is also a good way to review or recall that when we say set, it refers to any well-defined collection of objects. And when we're talking about the sets that is contained by this set, ang tawag doon ay elements. Tama? Elements. E paano po pag ang set ay walang laman? Ano pong tawag natin sa set na walang laman? Aside from the term empty set, what else is the other term that we use? That starts with N. Anong tawag natin sa set that is empty, walang laman? Anong mathematical term nun? Meron kaya sa mga mathletes natin ang makaka-recall? Ayan. Walang nakaka-recall pa. Okay, we call it null set, N-U-L-L. Yan. So, clear tayo what is a set and what is an element. And sabi ni John Philip Soriano, it's a null set. Yan. Next, let's find out how to accomplish the second task. Sabi cardinality. So for rainbow, since R is composed of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, what is the cardinality of set R? Ano nga, Tutor Joy, ang cardinality? Pag sinabi natin cardinality, mathletes, anong ibig sabihin nun? Can you send your answer in our comment section? Cardinality. Ilan ang laman ng set R? Yan, for each set, ilan ang laman? May red, may orange, yellow, blue, correct, si Jovan Karatay, Austria. We have 7. So we represent it this way. Ito po yung mga annotations natin, mathletes. Small letter N, open parentheses, capital R, which is the name of the set, close parentheses, equal sign, and then the number of elements in that set. So cardinality of set R is 7. Okay, madali lang. Kung ang set R may cardinality na 7, what about the set F? What about set F? What is its cardinality? If it is composed of blue, red, white, and yellow. Sige nga. Ayan, sabi ni Ceci Requinta, very good, Jovan, Austria. Sabi po ni Ceci Requinta. Sabi naman ni Angel Lou Bitamog, cardinality of set F is 4. Good job. So, if set R has cardinality of 7, ang set F naman ay may cardinality na 4. So, we're done with the second task, which is to determine the cardinality of these sets. Let's proceed to the next 2 tasks, wherein we are to find the union and intersection of the 2 sets. But before we proceed to that, recall natin, no, pag sinabi po nating cardinality, this refers to the number of distinct elements in a set. So, yung ginamit nating notation, which is small letter N and then followed by the name of the set, this represents the number of elements of that set. Ang basa natin kapag meron tayo nito, for example, yung N, open parenthesis, capital A, close parenthesis, this is read as number of A or cardinality of set A. And it's important that we also know how to read these notations. And for us to complete the first problem, let's determine or let's find the union and intersection of these 2 sets. So recall natin, ano ba ang union at ano ang intersection? Let's find out. Pag sinabi natin, mathletes, tandaan, pag sinabi nating union, if A and B, let's say we have 2 sets, A and B. If these are any 2 sets, their union will be denoted by this. A, capital U, and then yung name ng second set. So, A, union, B. Capital U ang gamit nating symbol, parang smiling face. This refers to the set of all elements that belong to A or to B. Other term for that, in layman's term, mga mathletes natin, union is simply pagsasamahin. Iko-combine natin yung mga elements ng 2 or more sets. So in this case, we are to get the union of set R and set F. So ano kaya ang pinagsamang set A and set B? Ayan, may nanonood din from our YouTube channel, si Jill Grace Tawagon. Sabi niya, hi po, Tutor Joy. Jill Grace Tawagon watching from Ocampo National High School. Shout out to you, Jill Grace, and to your classmates and schoolmates. Ayan, sige nga, what is the union? So, pagsasamahin natin ang elements ni set R at set F. So, we have, okay, let's have here our representation. So, please take note that the union of set R and F will be read orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white. Ano yung nadagdag sa Roy G. Biv? It's only the white, which is from set F. Pero ang tanong, naku, sabihin niyo siguro, Tutor Joy, ba't ganon? Kala ko ba i-combine? Bakit isang beses lang lumabas yung blue, yung red, yung yellow? Okay, this is the rule when we are applying union of sets. Kapag may common elements tayo, we will only write it once. Ulitin ko, we will only write it once. Huwag pong dodoblehin. So, halimbawa, si set R may red siya, si set F meron din siyang red na element. So, dahil kino-combine natin sila, yung red na tinutukoy sa set R ay parehas lang na ng tinutukoy na red sa set F. So, they will be counted as one only. So, again, R union F will be composed of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white. What about the intersection? Section, ang notation niya ay inverted U. Nakasimangot naman. Kung kanina smiley, ito nakasimangot. So, this is denoted by A, inverted U, B. If we're talking about intersection of sets A and B. And this refers to the set that consists of all elements that belong to both A and B. Tandaan po yung indicator na yun, very important yan. Yung word na both. Ibig sabihin, kapag tinutukoy natin ang intersection, kailangan yung elements na laman ng ating intersection ay parehas present doon sa dalawang sets. So if we're talking about intersection of R and F, ano yung common dito sa sets R and F natin? Tingnan ko nga. Ayan, very good. Si Aiza Balmes. Ang intersection daw po ng R and F are the elements red, blue, yellow. Ganon din ang sagot ni Desiree Baysarol. Good job, mathletes. So therefore, for our intersection, to complete our task for the first problem, the intersection of set R and set F will have the following elements: red, yellow, and blue. Ayan, tama ka rin dyan, Angelo Gabriel. So that's for the first problem, and it's very helpful to recall these concepts. Now, to help us recall another concept, let's have the second problem. Pero dapat malinaw muna sa atin kung ano bang ibig sabihin nito. Yan. So, we're talking about union and intersection, right? So, please take note also, mathletes, that the relationship among sets can be represented using a Venn diagram. Yan. So, yung first illustration, this talks about the union of sets A and B, kaya pinagsasama siya. But if it's intersection, we are just after the common elements of the two sets. Dito yung A and B. Okay? And next will be about probability. Ayan, probability. Remember our title, the title of our session, it's about probability of compound events. And when we say probability, mathletes, this is a measure or estimation of how likely an event will occur or happen. Sige, simpleng example. If you have a coin and you're going to toss it, fair coin, ilan yung pwedeng, what is the probability that a head will appear? Sige nga, if you toss a coin, what is the probability that a head will appear? Do you have any idea? Yan yung common examples natin eh. Yung about sa die, tsaka about sa coin. So, ang tanong, kapag nag-toss ka ng coin, that's your experiment, ilan ang possible outcomes? There are 2, yung head and tail. Pero ang tanong, what is the probability that a head will appear? Ayan, sabi ni Jovan Karatay, Austria, 1/2. Sabi ni John Philip, 50. Pero may kulang dyan sa 50 para maging tama yan. Dapat 50%. Ayan, sabi ni John Philip, sinagutan niya ulit, 50%. And ni Audrey. Again, if you have a coin being tossed, the probability of getting a head will be 1/2 or 50%. Another answer that is possible is in decimal form. What is 1/2 in decimal form? That is 0.5, correct. So let's take note that when we're talking about probability, pwede siyang naka-fraction, 1/2, pwede siyang naka-percent, 50%, at pwede rin siyang naka-decimal form, which is 0.5. So that's the easy example for that. Now, let's practice. How do we get the probability of this second problem? Suppose we have a bag that has 3 red, 4 yellow, 6 blue, and 7 white marbles. Tandaan po ang given. Now, if a marble is picked at random, what is the probability that the picked marble is blue? Sige, I'll give you time. Kahit wala pa tayong solution, do you have any guess on what will be the answer for this? Ayan, hello, kakapasok lang daw ni Alisa Joy Bonete. Good day from Camarines Sur. Yan. Share po natin sa timeline natin at group chat ito kung hindi pa na-share at lagyan ng hashtag na math10. Yan, sige nga po. What if we are asked to get the probability that the picked marble is blue? Any guess? May sumagot na 6/20 sabi ni Harchi. 25% sabi ni Audrey. 6/25 sabi ni Rainiel Manabat. 4/25, 6/25 sabi ni Charis May Marasigan. Okay, sagutin natin. A bag has 3 red, 4 yellow, 6 blue, 7 white marbles. Ang tanong, ilan lahat ng marbles? When we're talking about probability and sets, it's also important, first step, is to find out the sample space, yung total number of elements na meron tayo. Ilang marbles meron lahat sa bag? Correct? 20 or 20. Okay, ito po yan. And when we're talking about probability, this talks about the ratio that compares the number of favorable outcomes to the number of possible outcomes. May tatlo kang terms na maririnig dyan. Ratio, favorable outcomes, possible outcomes. Yan. In symbols, ganito po yan, mga mathletes. P of E, or babasahin natin to as the probability of an event E, or simply the probability of E, is equal to the ratio of number of favorable outcomes and number of possible outcomes. So pag sinabi nating ratio, ang involved operation dyan obviously is division. So magde-divide tayo. So here, may sumasagot sa ating comment section, may 6/20, 4/20, at may 3/10. Let's find out sino ang tama sa kanila by showing the solution. Nakita natin. So if it's your first time to encounter probability, aralin natin. Total number of marbles in the bag, which is the sample space, that is 20. 3 red plus 4 yellow plus 6 blue plus 7 white. Lahat naman yan marbles. So there is a total of 20 marbles. So ito yung tinatawag nating possible outcomes. Kasi kapag bumunot ka dyan sa bag na yan, na nagko-contain ng marble, 20 yung posible mong, may 20 possible na pagpipilian ka eh. Lahat yon marbles. Then next is to find out the number of blue marbles in the bag. Now, Tutor Joy, why is it blue? Look at the question. You go back to the problem. It is asked about, we are asked to get the probability that the picked marble is blue. So ilan ang blue marbles mo? So we are considering 6 blue marbles. Yung 6 dito will be our favorable outcomes. Favorable because this is in favor to our problem. Ang tinatanong ay probability that the picked marble is blue. So ang aalamin mo lang ay yung kung ilan yung favorable outcome in that condition. At 6 yun. And then applying what we know about probability of event, which is the ratio of favorable outcomes and possible outcomes, that is P of blue, or probability of picking a blue marble is 6/20. Yan, yung mga tama dito sa comment section. But wait, mathletes, always simplify. Do not forget that one of the rules in math is to always simplify. Kasi mas maganda daw ang simple. So, simplicity is beauty. So, how do we simplify this? Yan yung mga sagot nila. Myla Almadrones, Rich Jane Mercado. Harchi, naka-decimal, 0.3. Trisha May, which is 3/10. Okay, so when we simplify this, the probability that the pick marble is blue will be 3/10. How do we interpret that? That the probability that a blue marble will be picked from this bag is 3/10 or 30%. Or pwede rin ninyong isulat, it's 0.3. Yan, na-recall na. Ito pa yung mga other terms, mathletes, na kailangan nating alalahanin. Experiments, outcomes, sample space, and event. So experiments such as tossing a coin, rolling a die. O ano yung die? Die is the singular form for dice. Diba? Yung six-dotted object. Yan, yung meron siyang 6 faces, tapos may 6 dots, 6-faced object na meron siyang mga dots. So, ang numbering niya ay 1 to 6. So, yun yung mga experiments natin. Rolling a die, tossing a coin, drawing a card. And we also have these words, outcomes, sample space, and event. Now, for today, let's just emphasize the comparison between a simple event and a compound event. So, parang sa sentences lang, pag simple sentence, isa lang yung idea. Ganon din sa probability. The probability of simple event involves a single event occurring. Example niyan is when we are to find the probability of getting ahead when tossing a coin once. Isa lang yung tinutukoy natin. But today, when we solve for the probability of compound events, this involves more than one event happening together. Sabay na nangyayari. And take note that when we're talking about compound events, these are usually connected by the words and or pwede rin yung connector na or. Di ba ganun din sa compound sentences? Integrate natin yung yung mga lesson ninyo. If we have compound sentences, combination siya ng simple sentences, tapos may ginagamit lang tayong mga connectors. Yung mga conjunctions, yan, ganyan. So, ganun din sa probability. Example po niyan, mathletes, the probability of getting ahead and an even number when tossing a coin once and rolling a die once. So, ano yung mga experiments na nangyayari? May nag-toss ka ng coin, nag-roll ka rin ng die. Yan, singular form ng dice ay die. So, ano yung mga events na tinutukoy natin dyan? First, simple event, getting ahead. Siyempre, doon yung sa experiment na nagtotoss ka ng coin. Second event is getting an even number. Saan galing yan? Doon naman sa experiment na nagro-roll ka ng die. At mapapansin nyo yung connector na and. So that's an example of compound events. So be more familiar with that so that we can answer our next problems. So let's have this. Tandaan po ha, so sabi natin, merong mga connectors na or and end. So ito yung tip. Kapag nakita natin na ang ginagamit na connector ay word na or, this is actually referring to the union of the events. Yan. Kunyari, the set of all outcomes in either A or B, ang tinutukoy natin dyan ay yung union of events A and B. Kapag nakita naman natin na ang connector ay word na end, that also indicates that we are to apply intersection or we are to get the intersection of events A and B. Okay? So, the set of all outcomes shared by A and B, another way of saying that is to get the intersection of events A and B. So, tandaan yan. Union or intersection and. So, minsan gumagamit din ng word na both for intersection. Yan. Simulan natin. So, let's have the first example. In an experiment of rolling a standard die once and tossing a coin once, let us denote the event that an even number turns up as capital E, and let capital T denote the event that a tail turns up respectively. So, we are to find the union and intersection of these events. So, dalawang experiments ang nangyayari ng sabay. Rolling a standard die, tossing a coin. Sabi nyo may 6 faces ang standard die. At ang tossing a coin ay may dalawang possible outcomes. Pag pinagsama natin to, rolling a standard die, tossing a coin, how many possible outcomes are there all in all? So, sa rolling a die, there are 6. Sa tossing a coin, there are 2. Applying our knowledge about fundamental counting principle, there are how many? How many? How many possible outcomes? That is 6 times 2, which will give us 12. So bakit importante yon? Because the first step is to get the sample space of this experiment. Ayan, tama si Harchi, there are 12. So ano po yung sample space? Ano yung nilalaman ng sample space natin? So when we have this experiment of rolling a standard die and tossing a coin, there will be these 12 events na laman ng sample space natin. May 1H, 2H, 3H, so on and so forth hanggang 60. Hindi yung 60 na number ha, 6 and then T. Now, mathletes, what do we mean by 1H? For example, I roll a die. Ang lumabas doon ay yung 1 dot, yung face na merong 1 dot. Tapos nag-toss din ako ng coin. Tapos ang nag-appear ay head. Yung sabay ko yung ginawa, nag-roll ng die, and ang toss ng coin, ang lumabas ay 1 dot and then head. So that is 1H. So that is the representation of our events here. Yung 60 naman, 6 dots yung lumabas doon sa die, tapos tail naman yung lumabas doon sa ating coin. So I hope that's clear. Now, looking at this, we denote the event that an even number turns up as event E. So ano po yung mga laman nun? Ayan, kitang-kita. We have 2H, 4H, 6H, 2T, 4T, 6T. O hindi yan gawa-gawa ni Teacher Joy. Galing po yan lahat doon sa ating sample space. But these elements that are contained by event E satisfied, ito yung favorable outcomes, satisfy the condition that an even number turns up. So kukunin natin lahat ng event na may even number. Ano yung mga even numbers? 2, 4, and 6. So either kapartner niya ay head or tail. So kaya meron tayo dyang 2H, 4H, 6H, 2T, 4T, and 6T. What about F? Sige, what about event T? Ang sabi naman ng event T, it denotes the event that a tail turns up. So from our sample space, ano yung mga events na yun na merong tail? Kasi yun yung lalamanin ng ating event T. Sige nga, paki-type sa ating comment section. Okay, we have 1T, 2T, 3T, 4T, 5T, and 6T. And from this class, we can actually find the union and intersection of these events. Again, mathletes, union, pagsasamahin, pero wag uulit ng elements, we will write it only once. Intersection, common elements. Can you answer? What is the union of E and T? Ayan, meron na po silang sagot sa ating comment section. Ano ang union ng event E at event T? Pag pinagsama natin yan, we will form this. So, pagsasamahin, 2H, 4H, 6H, 1T, 2T, isang beses lang isusulat, 3T, 4T, isang beses lang ulit isusulat yung 4T, 5T, and then isang beses lang din isusulat ang 6T. Well done. At syempre, kung ito ang union, we can also find its intersection. Ano ang common na elements sa set E at sa set T? Or sa event E at sa event T? Tama si Trisha May. We have 3 elements. 2T, 4T, and 6T. Yan. So bakit natin to sinasagutan? Because we will be using this to practice how to solve probability for compound events. So let's have this second example. Yan. Pakibasa nga po at titigan natin. A 6-faced die which contains numbers of dots from 1 to 6 is rolled once. We are to find the probability of getting, so there are 2. First, even number or a multiple of 3. Next, even number and a multiple of 3. Yan, meron tayong 2 tasks. And again, these are now examples of compound events. Look at the connection we have. For letter A, gumamit siya ng word na or. For letter B, gumamit siya ng word na and. So for letter A, anong gagamitin natin sa letter A? Is it union or intersection? Even number or a multiple of 3. Is it union or intersection? Sige nga. Type U if it's union, type I if it's intersection. May mga indicators tayo. Yan, sabi ni Dansalan, it's union. Sabi din ni Angel Lu, it's union. Correct. So mapapansin natin, mathletes, that for both tasks, A and B, dalawa yung events. First event ay yung pagkuha ng even number. Second event ay yung pagkakaroon ng number na multiple of 3. Tapos, the only difference is yung connector. It's either or yung word na and. So, again, letter A, gagamitin natin union. May idea na tayo. Letter B, gagamitin natin ng intersection. But it's also needed for this problem na alam natin ang ibig sabihin ng even number. So, even numbers are numbers that are divisible by 2. So, we start from 2. It goes to 4, 6, and so on and so forth. Multiple of 3, numbers that are factors of 3. Multiples of 3 are numbers that are divisible by 3. So, start tayo sa counting number na multiple of 3, which is 3, followed by 6. Sasama pa ba natin ang 9 for this problem? Hindi na. Kasi we are only talking about the 6-face die na ang number ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at our sample space. So, first step is always to get the sample space. So, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Tama naman, di ba? Pag nag-roll ka ng die, yan yung mga numbers na nag-a-appear. Then, let's find out also its cardinality. Ilang elements meron sa sample space? We have 6. Bakit natin kinukuha? Why do we need to find the cardinality of our sample space? Because that will also be used in solving probability. Ayan. Next. So, pwede tayong gumamit ng representation class. Let's say, for example, we let capital A to represent the event of getting an even number. So, ano-ano yung laman ng event A kung ito ay defined as an event of getting an even number? What are the elements contained by set A? In our comment section, please. Tingnan natin kung nakakasunod. What are the elements of set A? Ayan, may 6. Tama. Ano pa? Nandyan din ang 2. And we also have 4. So, 2, 4, and 6 are the elements contained by set A. Correct. What about if we have here set B or event B? Let us use B to represent the event of getting a multiple of 3. So, ano ang laman naman ng ating P? Tama, si Baby Marjorie P. Losoriaga. There is only one element and that one of its element is 6. Yan. So, 6 at yung isa ay 3. Kasi ang sabi natin, multiple of 3. So, nahiwalay niya ang pag-send. So, we have here 3 and 6. So, if we have here the defined sets for A and B, first task is to solve for, paano ang basa dyan? Probability of A union B. Bakit nga po ulit union? Because in letter A, we are asked to get the probability of even number or a multiple of 3. Indicator is or, so ang i-apply nating operation ay union of sets. So, this is union of A and B. Ano ang mga elements natin sa union of A and B? Sige nga po, mathletes, in our comment section, what will be the elements contained by union of A and B? Pagsasamahin, magiging ilan na ang laman yan? There will be, sige, we'll wait for your answers. Nag-iisip pa. Yan, tama si John Philip Soriano. We have A union B, which has the elements 2, 3, 4, and 6. Which means that its cardinality will be 4. Ilan ang elements ng A union B? 4. Yung 2, 3, 4, and 6, these are now what we call the favorable outcomes. Favorable kasi ito yung mga even number, ito yung set or ito yung mga outcomes that would satisfy yung even number or a multiple of 3 na binigay kanina sa letter A. Okay? Since we know now what is the sample space, how many favorable outcomes do we have for A union B, let us now solve for its probability. Sige nga po, ano ang probability that you will get an even number or a multiple of 3 based on this partial solution? Please type in our chat box. Do not forget to simplify your answer. For uniformity, mag-fraction na lang tayo. Yan. Sabi ni Ma'am Jesseline Edge, very good John Philip. Yan. Tama si Romnick, that's the union of A and B. May elements na 2, 3, 4, and 6. Now, let's solve for the probability. The ratio of favorable outcomes, number of favorable outcomes, all over the number of possible outcomes, or simply our sample space. Sige, for uniformity purposes, i-express natin ang sagot natin in fraction form na nakasimplify. Sabi ni Catherine Obina, 2 over 3. Let's find out. So we have cardinality of A union B is 4. Cardinality of our sample space is 6. So that is 4 over 6. And when simplified, you're correct, Catherine, that is 2/3. So to interpret that, it means that the probability of getting an even number or a multiple of 3 from this experiment, from this particular experiment, is 2 over 3. Pag naka-percent yan, may point something, no? 66.7 approximation. So, we will be using fraction for this. So, tapos na tayo sa first part ng example 2. Now, let's proceed. What if we're talking about the intersection? Kasi gumamit na siya ng indicator na n. What will be now the probability of getting an even number and a multiple of 3? What will be the favorable outcome for this? So for letter B, this tells us that we have to solve for the probability of A intersection B. So basa natin dyan, intersection of A and B. At ano ang nilalaman ng intersection of A and B? Ayan, sabi ni John Philip, may isa lang. Oh, what about the others? What is the element? Tama, Harchi. We have 6. So A intersection B has an element, has a single element, which is 6. So kung meron siyang 6 as an element, its cardinality is 1. Sabihin, isa lang yung favorable outcome niya. Among the events in the sample space, isa lang yung nagsasatisfy na even number, yung event na yon, and at the same time, multiple of 3 siya. And that is 6. Yun yung idea. So what is the probability? Kindly express it also in fraction form and in simplest form. Sige nga, what is the probability of A intersection B? That will be the ratio of, tama, 1 over 6. Can we still simplify this? Not anymore. So, this will be our final answer. We can interpret this as, from this experiment, the probability of getting a result that is both an even number and a multiple of 3 is actually 1 over 6. Good job! Mukhang ready na sa quick challenge. But before our quick challenge for this week, let's have this. Yan. Very simple, pero mapapaisip tayo. 3 coins are tossed. Lahat naman siguro sa atin na-experience na paano mag-toss ng coin. Pero this time, there will be 3 coins being tossed. Let's find the probability of getting at least 1 head. Now, part of our solution is to always get the sample space first. So, ilan kaya ang laman ng sample space ng experiment na to? If we toss 3 coins. Remember that for every coin, there are 2 possible outcomes, head or tail. So, meron tayo applying fundamental counting principle, fundamental principle of counting, 2 times 2 times 2. There will be how many? How many outcomes for this experiment? Alamin natin. 6 ba? 2 times 2 times 2. How many? There will be hindi 6. Because for every coin, there are 2 possible outcomes. So, yung first coin, dalawa. Yung second coin, dalawa din. And yung third coin, dalawang outcomes din. So, 2 multiplied by 2 by another 2. Tama si Mark Ryan Gonzalez and si Yonel Arau. There will be 8. Ganon din sa Alea Beroya. There will be 8. And when we visualize this, tingnan po ang ating tree diagram. On the last column, you will see the possible outcomes. So, for example, class, sa ating sample space, we have HHH, HHT, HTH, HTT, THH, THT, TTH, and TTT. Ngayon, ano pong ibig sabihin yan? That for example, you toss these 3 coins. Nung pag-toss mo, nung nag-land na yung coin, these 3 coins appeared all heads. So, yun yung event na HHH. Yun yung representation nun. So, kapag halimbawa meron ka namang TTH, ibig sabihin, yung first 2 coins mo, parehas tail, and then yung third coin mo ay head. So, I hope that's clear. So, it's, we were able to clarify now that the sample space of this experiment, wherein 3 coins are tossed, will be composed of 8 elements. So, ang cardinality nito, mathletes, ay 8. So, the cardinality of sample space is 8. And here, our goal is to find the probability of getting at least 1 head. So, ang event na meron tayong kino-consider dito is to get at least 1. Sa ibang words, or in other words, pag sinabi natin at least 1, minimum of 1 head. So, pasok po ba dyan yung event na merong 2 heads? Yes. Eh, yung may 3 heads po, pasok din. So, getting at least 1 head means that there are 3 possible cases. It is either the favorable outcome should have 1 head, 2 heads, or 3 heads. Malinaw po yan ha. Yun yung meaning ng at least 1. Kahit isa. So, pasok ang may 2 heads, pasok ang may 3 heads. May sagot si Jovan Karatay Austria sa ating comment section. Ang sagot niya ay 7/8 ang probability. Actually, ang papakita kong una, longer version. Tapos mamaya, yung shorter version. O, tingnan natin ha. I-enumerate lang natin. So, 3 cases. Case 1 will be represented by A. Case 2 will be represented by B. Case 3 by C. So, sa set A, sabi, event that 1 head turns up. So, pasok doon yung event na HTT, TTH, at THT. For event B, event that 2 heads turn up, so pwede doon yung HHT, event na HTH, at event na THH. Can you follow? And lastly, for event C, may isa lang. Isang event lang naman ang possible na doon sa experiment na yon na magkakaroon ka ng all heads. 'Di ba? So that is the event HHH. Now, by this representation, we say that all these elements are the favorable outcomes for the problem. Ito yung mga possible. Ito yung mga favorable. These are the outcomes that would satisfy our given condition. So, in order for us to combine all this, i-add natin lahat yan, it is represented as A union B union C. Tutor Joy, pwede pala yun? 3 events, a-applyan ng union? Yes. We can apply union or intersection in 2 or more events. So, katulad ng nakikita natin, there are 3 events, A, B, and C, being combined. So, nung pinagsama-sama natin, meron na siyang 7 elements. So, we say that the cardinality of A union B union C is 7. Therefore, solving our probability, tama po kayo, we have 7/8. So, the probability of getting at least 1 head in tossing 3 coins is actually 7/8. But mathletes, this is the longer version because we give it in detailed manner. But what is the shorter version? So, tingnan natin. Shorter version, unang-una, lista pa rin natin ang sample space, composed of 8 elements. Cardinality pa rin natin ay 8. Tapos, bibilangin lang natin. Alin dyan or ilan dyan sa sample space yung may events na may kahit isang head. Ayan, in-underline ko na po. Makikita natin that all the events are favorable outcomes except sa last one, which is TTT. Kasi kahit isang head, walang nag-appear sa event na yon. Therefore, the probability of getting at least one head from this experiment is 7/8. Ayan, as simple as that. Hello, Althea Tesaya. Ayan, she's greeting from San Mariano National High School. Ayan, paano po ba siya gagawing percent? Tanong ni Catherine Obina. Good question. So, for example, you have 7/8 mathletes. You divide 7 by 8, and then its quotient will be multiplied by 100. So, we can use our calculator for that. So, 7 divided by 8 is actually 0.875. Tapos, multiply natin sa 100, that is actually 87.5, and then lalagyan ng percent. So, thank you for that question, Catherine. So, again, fraction, decimal, percent form can be accepted as our probability measures. So, now, kung clear yan, let's have our quick check challenge. Ready na, mathletes? If you're ready, kindly send an emoji. A happy emoji in our comment section. I know that you can do this because you are always matibay. So first, let us just choose the letter of the correct answer. If A, event A or set A is composed of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16, and set B has the elements 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15, let's find the cardinality of A union B. Pakilagyan po ng number and then your answer. Is it A, B, C, or D? A0, B2, C8, or D11? What will be now the cardinality if you combine the elements of A and B? May sagot tayo from Ria Nina, letter D, kay Lionel B, Marinel D, Nia D. The correct answer here is D. Yan, ano yung 11 elements na yon? 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, and 16. Walang iuulit na element. Good job. Karamihan sa inyo, you got it correctly. Next. How many possible outcomes are there in tossing a coin and rolling a die once? Yan, applying fundamental counting principle. Is it A3, B6, C8, or D12? Tossing a coin, rolling a die. So consider the number of possible outcomes for each experiment. A, B, C, or D for number 2. Ilagyan ng number. May sumagot na B, C. Rolling a die. How many possible outcomes? Applying fundamental counting principle. 2 times 6 is letter D. It must be 12. There must be 12 possible outcomes for this experiment and for this compound experiment. Okay, so yung mga nalito kanina, may sumagot na B and C. Please take note of this. That is simply 2 times 6. Next, number 3. A box contains 8 black marbles, 12 white marbles, and 5 yellow marbles. If a marble is drawn at random, what is the probability of getting a black or a white marble? O mathletes, meron tayong clue ha, a black or a white marble. So it indicates that you will be applying which is which. Is it union or intersection? Again, tip natin ay hanapin or alamin kung ano ang sample space. What will be the cardinality of your sample space since we are to solve for its probability? Is it A, 1 over 5, B, 4 over 5, C, 12 over 25, or D, 17 over 25? May 8 black marbles, 12 white marbles, 5 yellow marbles. Wow! Impressive. So most of you are answering what letter? Yan, double check ha. May sumasagot letter B, may sumasagot letter C. Isa pa lang nakita ko. Dalawa, tatlo. Okay, tingnan natin. Mukhang may nalilito. The probability of getting a black or a white marble. So obviously, this is an example of compound event. A black or a white marble. So the correct answer, class, is, or mathletes, letter B. Good job. 4 over 5 for those who get it. Bakit po 4 over 5? Ang sample space, or yung box natin, it contains how many marbles all in all? 8 black plus 12 white plus 5 yellow is equal to 25. So there are 25 marbles. And out of these 25 marbles, we need to get the probability of getting a black or white. So combine lang natin, 8 black plus 12 white. Bakit natin kino-combine? Kasi or nga eh. So that is union of sets. So 8 plus 12 is 20 out of 25. And when simplified, that is equal to 4 over 5. Second to the last. Find the probability of getting at least 2 heads in tossing a coin thrice. Medyo fresh pa to. Getting at least 2 heads in tossing a coin thrice. So you need to find out, clue, mathletes, siguro mga 20 seconds to 25 seconds. When you toss a coin thrice, meron kayong 8 elements in the sample space. Now, what is the probability that you will get there at least 2 heads? Minimum of 2 heads. Is it A, 1/2, B, 2/3, C, 1 over 5, or D, 1/4? Pakilagyan ng number. Yan, I know that you are solving. Pwede nyong ilista ulit. Ano nga ba yung mga events para sa experiment na to when we are tossing a coin thrice? So, same elements lang siya doon kanina. 3 coins tossed once has 8 elements. Tossing a coin thrice will also have 8 elements. Ang sagot ng iba sa number 4, letter B, 2 over 3. Baka may nalilito. Please double check. At least 2 heads. Pasok po ba dyan ang 3 heads? Yes, pasok kasi minimum of 2. So may sumagot sa 4 na B, A, and D. Mukhang ano to, challenging yung number 4. 5 seconds left. Enter now your answer. The correct answer here will be, it should be letter A, mathletes, 1/2. So when you have a coin and you toss it thrice, halos same lang siya ng mga events dun sa nauna nating example kanina. So there will be HHH, HHT, HTT, THH, HTH, TTH, and TTT. Ngayon, ang tanong, at least 2 heads. So, pasok lahat ng may 2 heads and 3 heads. So, ano po yung mga favorable outcomes natin dyan? Una, HHT, followed by THH, then HTH, and then lastly, yung may 3 heads, HHH. And that is 4 out of 8 possible outcomes. So, 4 over 8 when simplified is 1/2. And last but not the least, okay lang yan, medyo nalito siguro sa sample space. Now, for number 5, a die is rolled once. What is the probability of getting a result which is an odd number, and a factor of 6. Ano nga ulit ang mga odd numbers? Pasok dyan ang 1, 3, 5. So hanggang 5 lang kasi 1 to 6 ang ating sample space. Now, when we say factor of 6, ano yung mga numbers that when you multiply, it will result to 6? So meron dyan 1 and 6, 2 and 3. So ang factor ng 6 ay 1, 2, 3, and 6. Ang odd number naman natin ay 1, 3, 5. Okay, so ano ang magiging sagot? Is it 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, or 1/6? So, meron tayong indicator na end. So, we have So, ano dyan yung odd number and at the same time, factor siya ng 6. So, we have letter B, which is 1/3. So, ilang elements yon? Dalawa. Yung 1 and then yung 3. So, 2 out of 6, that is 1/3. Ayan, may mga tumama po ang sagot. Jasmine, yung iba nalito naman. Meron naman dito B or D. Okay, isa lang ang sagot. Yan, so 1/3. So 2/6 are simply 1/3. So can you please send your score in our comment section? I know that this is challenging, the probability of compound events. Yan, may mga nalilito pag sa sample space. Kaya we have to be familiar with the experiments. Yan. So how many got 5/5, 4/5, 3/5? Can you please put your score in our comment section? So while you are sending your scores in our comment section, let us now proceed to our math challenge of the week. Ayan, sabi ni Rhea Nina 4/5, si Rainiel 3/5 with emojis. Yan, si Herbie 4/5, ganun din si Aiza. May naka 2/5. Yan, it's okay. Practice lang tayo, no? Kaya dapat masagutan nyo itong math challenge of the week para mas maging familiar tayo. Then si Cherise, 3/5. Tresha, 3/5. Cedric, 3/5. Nina, 4/5. Ayan, sabi ni Harchi, 3/5. Bawi next time. Yes. And this is just a formative assessment. Now, let's proceed to our math challenge of the week, Mathletes. You can still do this because you are always matnibay. Yan. O, ang experiment naman dito, 2 fair dice ang niro-roll natin. Okay, so 2 fair dice are rolled once. What is the probability of getting a sum that is greater than 6 but less than 9? Another task that you need to do is to list down all the favorable outcomes of this compound event. So, paano po ito? Merong condition that the probability of this event, this event must have a sum that is greater than 6 but less than 9. Alin doon sa mga event mula sa sample space, yung kapag inad ay higit sa 6 pero mas mababa sa 9. Example po dyan, Mathletes. For example, I rolled these 2 dice, tapos ang lumabas sa first die ay 5, tapos ang lumabas sa second die ay 2. So what is their sum? 5 plus 2 is 7. Now, is 7 greater than 6? Yes. But is it less than 9? Yes. So meaning, yung 5-2 na combination, or yung 5-2 na event, is considered as a favorable outcome in this problem. Kasi greater than 6 yung sum, pero mas mababa sa 9. Okay? So, 2 fair dice. Ilan kaya ang sample space niyan? First die has 6 possible outcomes. Second die has 6 possible outcomes. So what is 6 times 6? Ayan, malalaman natin. Ako, challenging talaga itong ating weekly math challenge. So aside from getting the probability, you need to list down all the favorable outcomes. So binigay kong example dyan, yung event na 5-2. One of its favorable outcome, isa sa mga favorable outcome natin yung 5-2. O, bigyan ko kayo example ng hindi favorable outcome. Yung 1-4. O, pag lumabas yung first die 1, second die 4, 1 plus 4 is 5. Hindi siya pasok kasi ang sum niya ay hindi greater than 6. Yan. Excited na akong makita ang inyong mga sagot. So don't forget that when you post your answer or you send your answer in our group chat, you include these hashtags. Math 10 Challenge, Tutor of Hill, Tutor Ruel, and Tutor Joy. And please don't forget to follow our official Facebook page, DepEd ETUlay, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel, DepEd ETUlay, and join our Facebook group. Once again, on behalf of my partners, we have Tutor of Hill as our director today, and Tutor Ruel, my partner, who is having an event in school. This is Tutor Joy from SDO Caloocan City, always reminding you that learning math is more fun when you can see and appreciate its beauty. Once again, see you next week, and maghihintay ako sa inyong weekly math challenge. Bye, mathletes!
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!